Hi everybody, welcome back to my garden. Yesterday I picked a bunch of cherry tomatoes. Juliet, Galenus, this is Galenus, Juliet, Jasper, black strawberry. And I'm going to my family reunion today, so I thought I would make up a batch of bruschetta for my dish to pass, or as Giada says, bruschetta. So this recipe is kind of, excuse me, every time I bring this recipe someplace, people are like, I need the recipe for it. And I'm like, I just throw it together. So I'm going to kind of show you how I do this, and then we'll talk about like proportions. I'm a proportional cook. I really kind of don't measure stuff a lot of times. It's like I kind of have an idea, but I'm a proportional cook. So this bowl is 6 cups, Pyrex bowl. So you kind of get the idea. And if you're having problems slicing tomatoes with your regular knives, this is a ceramic blade knife. It's probably the best for slicing tomatoes. So, and this is fairly big. You can see the difference in the sizes here. This one's fairly big. I try to get these in small enough pieces so they don't fall off the bread. So I'm using this kind of a bread, and then I slice it on the diagonal. And you want the pieces small enough. Like with Jasper here, I only need to cut this in quarters. And that's the size I want for my pieces. So this is Galenus cherry. I will slice it in quarters and then each quarter in half, so they're all about the same size. For Juliet, slice it in quarters. And then do it that way. This one, again, slice in quarters. And just kind of go so everything is the same size. And that's how I end up doing this. So I'm going to do a bunch of those, and then we'll go to the next step. So that's how much I filled up this bowl. I'm just going to stir it. I want to make sure there's a good proportion of yellow to red here. This looks pretty good. You can see these tomatoes are pretty juicy. So now I want to put some salt on it. I'm using sea salt. Give them a good dose of salt. Not too much. And I'm going to put some pepper in there. Just a little bit of pepper. There we go. Next, I'm adding some chopped garlic. I hate chopping garlic, so I use this stuff. I would say a chopped a clove, so that's a teaspoon. It's about the only thing I measure. So I'm going to use olive oil. It's this is the brand I like. And I put it in one of these salad dressing mixers because it pours nice. So how much? Well, you know, enough. That was probably a tablespoon and a half, 2 tablespoons maybe. And then balsamic vinegar. This is almost gone. As a matter of fact, it is gone. It sounds like there's some in there. So I'm going to start with a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. And then I'll taste it and see if it needs a little more. So next ingredient is basil. And of course I forgot to go pick it before I started filming this. So I'll be right back. So Genovese basil is my favorite. Make sure these leaves are clean. No little critters or anything on here. Wrap it up. I have 3 big leaves. Big leaves. This is not my favorite knife for doing this, but there you go. Then I just chop it up a little bit more. And put that in there. And mix it up. You don't need a whole lot of basil. The other thing I'm going to add in here is some flat leaf parsley, which I do when I have it available. And I don't add a whole lot in. It smells so good. Actually, I think this is probably going to be enough. Because you don't want the parsley to overwhelm the basil. But it adds so much flavor. Oops, there's a whole leaf there. Add that in there. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute before I taste it. And then I will come back and we'll see if it needs anything else. I'm going to let it sit for about 10 minutes. So here's the French loaf, French bread. Where is it? Here. I like to cut this at an angle like this. You see that? This is one of those take and bake. Because then you get these nice big pieces. So I'm just gonna go through and chop up this whole loaf. So I've got these all cut up. You want to know something good? I'm going to cover these in olive oil. I just kind of make sure they all have a little bit of olive oil on them. And then you can put these on a sheet pan. And cook them under your broiler. My broiler cooks so uneven, and I usually end up burning them. I'm going to cook these on a stovetop. So I will show you how I'm going to attempt to do that. This bread is really good, by the way. This is from Aldi. I can't remember how much it was. It wasn't very much. It's better than the stuff you get from your grocery stores that have a bakery. So, yummy. Okay, I have this on medium-high heat. I can hear them sizzling. You just want them to be a little brown. That took about 2 minutes. A little toasted. Just cook that olive oil that's on there a little bit. So a few of them looked like they didn't have enough olive oil on them, so I just sprayed them. This is olive oil in here with a little bit of olive oil. You can smell that they're done. And I'm just moving them to a cookie rack so they can cool off. You want them to be cool completely before you put them in a container. Now I'll do the next batch. There we go. They're all nice and toasted, and I just make sure that they're crispy in the centers because they have to be able to stand up to the sauce. So I'm going to let this cool a little bit, and then I'm going to give it a try. Let's give this a try, shall we? I'm going to take one of these little pieces of bread that have holes in them. And let's see. Perfect. It's perfect. That is my bruschetta recipe. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you give this recipe a try. I didn't do anything to this, by the way. I left it just the way it was. And just letting it sit for a while really let the flavors meld. Now, this does not store well in the refrigerator because the olive oil congeals, obviously. You have to eat it right away. If you want, you can store it in the refrigerator, but then let it set out for a while. So it'll be really good. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw here, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And until next time, everybody, happy gardening. Bye-bye.